guests, Chef Queen Precious Jewel Zabriskie and Jay White of Indulge Catering.
We're back with Key Piqued Interest, KPI, Entrepreneurial Insights, LGBTQ edition. Piper and I are really happy to have our guest, Chef Queen Precious Jewel,
Yes, ma'am.
and Jay White, who is a co-owner. They are co-owners of Indulge Catering, along with another enterprise.
Yes.
So happy that you guys had time to come out and chat with us today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so one of the things that we wanted to do was to talk to business owners that look more like us, right? Partners,
Yes.
female partners in this case, and then that live and work together is even more crazy, right?
Yes.
How do your friends ask you, how do you
Yeah, all
deal
the time.
with it?
Like they always say, and so you live together and you together all the time, 24 hours, and you still like each other? Yes, and we love each other and we like each other.
Still like each other.
Yes, yes we do. Yeah, so they always ask.
When did you start your business?
2014, we started Indulge Catering LLC. And it was a
You're going on the Big
whirlwind.
10.
We are.
My gosh.
Do you know how
and
special that is?
we
5 was special.
5 was really
right?
like,
We were like, wow.
yes, because people started pointing out, wait, y'all made it over 5 years. You know,
Right,
most businesses
exactly.
don't make it 5. And I was like,
Yes.
they don't? I had no clue
Yeah, we
of
were
the
like,
stats.
ooh, we're a business.
Yeah, I had no clue of the stats. I don't know, whatever. And then our kitchen manager is like more excited about 10. She was like, 10 years? And we were like, oh, because a lot of our businesses were like, a lot of friends who we have who are in business, they're like, oh, 10-year celebration, 10 year. And they're celebrating their 10 years. And I was like, wow, that's us. Because we usually cater everybody else's 10 year. And we were like,
That's right.
oh yeah, that's our turn. She was like, we got to do something big. And I'm like,
We have to.
okay, we have to. So now we're like, okay, we got to put on the calendar.
So
we can do it.
I can't wait to help celebrate your 10 years.
Yeah.
So we started in 2023, so this is our 20.
We started in 2003.
03. I keep adding the
I don't
It's
know.
easy. It's easy to do it. So yeah.
2003, and so we're at 20 years, and, I didn't.
It just went right by.
It went right by.
Yeah.
It went right
That's
by.
amazing.
That's
the best
amazing.
when it goes by.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
means you're having fun.
Yes.
And a lot of things happen along the way. So I, not only in your partnership,
Yeah.
like in your life, things have happened.
Yeah.
So have you had challenges that have come up that impacted what was going on with the business?
Oh yeah, like so we started in 2014, and we started because I worked in corporate America, and you always have potlucks, and then I'm clean and I have curry, and everybody was like, we want you. Who made this food? And I was like, it was me. And it was like, okay, cool. So I had one lady, my coworker, she would pay me to feed her people because she doesn't cook. And she was like, oh, so can you cook for me? And then Jay was like, if she paying, I'll cook, because I'll feed everybody. I'm the oldest
Well,
of
that
6.
was after like the third time.
The third time, yeah. She was like,
It's not just a favor anymore.
yes, exactly. Because
You've moved into professional
Right.
She's like,
services.
the pots, I use every pot in the house. And what the world? And she got to clean. So she was like, no. So she paid me, and then other people started paying me. And then I came home and I really was like, I want to start a catering company. And she was like, let's do it. And I was like, really? And then so it was more like people are really paying me to do my passion.
What were you doing at this time? Were
I was
you?
in school. We had
Just got married.
yeah.
Oh
we've
my
been
God.
married maybe
Yeah.
2 years.
Yep.
2 years, and I started school right after our wedding ceremony.
So, in our journey,
Yes.
we were together a little while, and I went back to graduate school,
Right. That's
and
right.
that changed. It changed our
It
relationship.
changed the dynamics, yes.
What school did?
Yeah, because you're two working people.
Yes.
You kind of have the same schedule, and then school is like, no, I don't have weekends.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was us. Like, we got married 10, 11, 12. She started school 2012, and she was slated for graduation 2014. And then the business started picking up. And when the business picked up, I was working in the morning. We would get off of work. She would pick me up. We would go into the kitchen, cook the food, have overnight shifts, get off of work, maybe have an hour or two of sleep, go back to work. She would come and get me during my lunch break so I can sleep in the car. And then we would maybe go to an event or something like that. So we were working this round the clock thing. And we actually went to therapy because the therapist, we had to figure out how to stay in our lanes. And the therapist helped us talk to each other because we were really having headbutt moments. And what we realized...
No, the headbutt moments. You got to tell what the headbutt moments were. The headbutt moments were, since I was in school, I wasn't working, right? Yeah. So I go to school during the day. She would go to work. I had more time than her.
Apparently. Yes, I learned it apparently.
To work on the business while she was at work. And then when she got off of work, she wanted to work on the business and felt some kind of way because I was off. I said, I'm off. I've been working on the business all day. Now it's your turn if you feel that way. So that's where the headbutt came in.
Because I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. I was working my corporate job. And then when we got off, I'm ready to talk about menus. I'm ready to figure out what we're going to do. And she's like, I just did 8 hours of that.
Yeah.
And the counsel was like, let's see. You worked 8 hours of corporate. She worked 8 hours in the business. Now you want to come and work 8 hours in your business. And so you're making her work double shift in the business. I was like, no, I'm not. And she was like, no, yes, you are. And so when we figured it out, I was like, oh.
So did you do a time study? How did you figure that out? You just accounted for your time? Like
no. In the beginning, you just work.
Yeah.
Did
until
your
you
thing.
stop.
Yeah.
So your therapist helped you figure out just a parent.
Uh-huh.
Helped us figure out we have different lanes.
Yes.
This is your role. This is your role. You're the CEO. She's the COO. Let her do her thing. Okay. You do your thing, and then y'all be fine. And it worked.
And how long was that into it?
That was the first.
That was the first year.
No,
ma'am.
Wow.
First
wow.
year.
That was
Good
the first
for
year.
you.
Yes, first year, because it affected our
marriage
a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it was a marriage counselor. So that was the other thing that it also, and the marriage counselor realized that
I don't tell her.
She don't tell me no. I didn't like that part of the therapy when she said, "Do you realize you don't tell her no?" I was like, "So what if she don't tell me no? She's not supposed to tell me no." She's telling me yes all the time, and she was like, "Well, she don't tell you no, so she's holding back the saying I don't want to do that." And I'm like,
and
the problem with that is
so setting those boundaries.
Yes,
setting those boundaries was a big deal, right?
Very big deal.
And so, are you still seeing therapists?
No.
And you've learned about these boundaries.
Yes.
Oh, that first year. I'm so glad we learned that first year.
On the first year.
Man,
yes.
It saved our
Now,
business.
the other thing that I noted is did some interviewing with some other couples that were in business, and they quit. It seemed that they quit around 5 or 7 years. They quit working together. Mm-hmm. They didn't really say why, other than they felt like they were just an employee, or they needed to go pursue something that was more interest to one of the partners.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that you guys are still in the same business.
Yeah.
So where does the joy come from for you in staying here?
That makes sense
because it totally makes sense. Yeah. And I think so right now, so it's about to be year 10. We are in the moment. I think last year it started. We do have a business counselor. Our business counselor, mentor.
We started
is
with her
also
2018.
our life coach.
2018.
She's also our life coach. So she takes that spirituality and business and life, because you have to have healthy relationship, healthy life.
Healthy balance.
In order to have a healthy business.
So do you advocate that when you meet other people in business?
Yes. I do, because it's important for me. I didn't realize, and I'm sorry to cut you off, I didn't realize that this has always been my passion. This is my business. And I say that for this point. In the beginning, it has always been my passion. It's always been my drive. I can work this thing 24 hours a day. This has not been always her thing. She's been my supporter. And that's the reason why I said it makes sense, because about 5 years is when she said, "This is my business too." And I was like, "You finally like this? What? And then I said, "Oh."
It was year 4.
It was there you go. And she finally was like,
Have you had that?
Yeah.
Have you had that feeling?
Yeah. I mean, because video was your realm,
Yeah.
I was a musician / employed in a bunch of different places. And she needed a sound person. I felt like she was, I don't want to say you were disorganized. I don't want to say that. But it was like you would do the business, but the business of business.
I didn't take much time doing it.
Yeah. And I had worked in my youth at a bookstore for a woman who didn't know anything about having a business. And I feel like I got a huge education. Yeah. I didn't even realize what all I knew.
I did not have that.
And when she wanted to start doing this, because I was always like mowing people's lawns and painting, and I'd always have like at least 2 part-time jobs, maybe a full-time job. But I didn't realize like how much I knew, and I was like, wait a minute, you need to get your EIN and you need to do all this other stuff. And she was like, well, can you just do it?
Yeah.
And I didn't say no.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I say no. I think I do. This past year, I think I
Setting
have.
those boundaries is so important.
Started saying
So
no.
important.
So important.
So now you're feeling like you're running along with it. It's like
there's one thing I have to say, right? So those 3-4 years, right? From year 1 to 3, I felt like we were doing the business 24/7, right?
You
and as an
probably were.
entrepreneur, right? You are, right? But I was fighting it a little bit. I was like, I want some me time, like. I don't want to do the business 24/7, right? And I fought it for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And then I gave in. It's when I realized, dang on it, this is your business too. You gotta, go hard all the time.
Yep.
it's true.
Yeah.
And
In
you
order
don't work harder than for somebody
Yeah,
else
you're
like
not
you
gonna
work for
work,
yourself.
Right.
And that is, you see the fruits of your labor, and you have some satisfaction in your successes.
Yes. But we didn't really see, we saw it, but we didn't see it because I was still working corporate. So I quit my corporate job in 2016, about 2 years in, and it was underneath the stress that I quit because I literally was having an emotional breakdown. And I went out on leave, came back, and sat in the parking lot and cried. I did not want to go back and clock in because it was too stressful.
It is.
And I prayed, asked God, I said, listen, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And God was like, go, do it, step out, take the leap. And literally took the leap, really heavy prayed upon it, and it's been taken off ever since. It literally was like God was waiting for me to just listen.
How long did it take you to get to replace your corporate job revenue?
That we knew we replaced it, because that's another part, not knowing the books, not understanding what I'm looking at. We actually replaced it year 2, and not knowing that we replaced it on year 2. Until somebody, we were catering for high end because we did music festivals. So the part that people didn't know is that we got our start catering music festivals. So we catered the Article Festival for 2 years. Then we catered Moog Fest, and we don't do vending. So we do high end. You hire us to do your green room backstage. So we turned the self-help building in downtown Durham into our own little restaurant and fed them 3 days for artists and staff. So we were catering 2,000 people on no sleep, and we was doing it, me and her, and then we hired some people, but we were doing it, and everybody's like, where's your staff? Well, you're looking at them right here. We would I call my mom, Ma, come on down.
So you were asking for favors from your immediate network.
Yes.
For the first 2 years.
And we learned never to do that again. We love y'all.
All right.
But-
So you have replaced, you don't know you've replaced your income. And now, when did you figure it out?
We hired
We hired a CPA.
CPA.
And then, at the end of the year tax time, we like, we made that much money.
I said, what? We not make that much.
Because I don't see it in my
I don't see that. Where the
Right.
And she was like, you didn't know? And then
My
our
books say it,
my
yes.
books say, however, my bank account don't say.
Right. And so from that, you
Yeah.
learned what about looking at your money?
Well, I didn't. I had to bump my head. So I did not, because I ran the opposite direction. I didn't want to. So I was like, well, we'll just hire somebody to do it. And I didn't look and do a checks and balances, which I've known now, which is why I believe we're still here in business, is because of the checks and balances. And it's all a business coach. 2018, she made us sit down and say, what do you even know? And I was like, no, I don't. I just trust. And then
Your key performance indicators
Yes.
are so important.
had no idea. Had no idea. Still,
You just
learning.
knew I'm buying it for $1 and I'm selling it for $2.
And that's it. And we're supposed to be good. Yeah, we're good. We're still here. We're good. I can still make some sort of payroll. But she was like, you really need to do this. You need to do A, B, and C. She made me do my resume. Her and my best friend, those two. They was like, you don't really know how dope y'all are, do you? I was like, no, I really don't.
No, you
So
guys.
we had no idea. Even still now, it's really
It's
funny.
amazing what you guys are
We
doing.
don't know. They made me write down what I want to do, and then realize how many things I had already done.
You
on
checked
the
them
list.
off.
Yes.
You're like, didn't write them down, but you knew they were
you
there.
knew they were there.
Now, when you write them down now,
Yeah.
how fast do you get there?
It's really fast. It's really kind of funny though, because it is truly a manifestation of what you want. But it's smart manifestation now. And it's believing that I can actually do it and making, so we used to say scary leaps of faith, where I'm just going to say, okay, we're just going to jump off this bridge, but I know that God got me. Now it's leaps in faith, leaps that I know God is with us. And we're doing these things because we are prepared. We know what we can do. And my eyes are open differently as a business owner. We are both employees of our business, which helped during COVID because we were employees.
So glad to hear you guys say that. And so, what's your goal right now? Because what I know about your income, 6% of women-owned businesses hit where you are.
Oh.
Whoa.
I know.
That's
That's an eye
That's
opener,
it.
right?
Yeah.
when you exceed the 250 mark.
Yes.
You're at the 3%.
Wow.
So you're breathing on it.
Breathing on it.
You're breathing on
Wow. That's
it.
really
So 6% of what women business owners typically do.
Freaking awesome.
So I think right now our goal is
We just had this talk.
it's moving from sustainability to growth. So
Yes.
one of the things my business coach is really working with me on is understanding the difference and understanding that when you ask and you reach your goals that you have and what your ask has to be in a part of growth. So make sure your foundation of sustainability is there, because then growth will automatically happen. So for us now, it is growing our catering side to be sustainable, to get her out of the kitchen, because I'm out of the kitchen. So yeah.
Yeah, because now you can make the money moves and make these big dreams,
Yes.
big possibilities
Yes.
happen. And so this is kind of where I think we are. We're trying to get you out of the kitchen.
Yeah. It feels good because when I came out of the kitchen, it was a necessity. So I came out of the kitchen actually because I was kicked out of the kitchen, in the sense of the opportunity with the spice side with Gordon Ramsay came.
Okay.
And so
So you basically had to go film a show.
I had to go film a TV show. And
you had to leave.
And I had to leave, and they gave us 1 month.
We had to get our business processes
There you go.
in order.
Yes. So back of the house, like the back of the house stuff and all
We,
that.
we are working, business manual, right?
Yes,
so
that.
you have to
Thank
have
you.
your processes, and that is like so big to get you
SOPs.
out. Now, it happened for us to started in 2013. I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh.
And I am sort of the big push. I bring people in, I talk to people, and picture is a big, the big sexy side. Sound is more important.
But yes.
Sound is more important.
But I understand.
It's the big sexy side, right?
Yes.
So that was hard for us because I was doing a lot. I was in the kitchen.
And we
And
weren't.
so-
we didn't have 8-hour days. We were.
No,
Yeah.
we would get up and might have a meeting at 8 and then like come home after 11.
Yeah.
So it became really important to have the processes for replacing me so that I could go through that. And I chose to do an accelerated treatment so that it wasn't 8 months. It was, 6 months.
It was
Because
maybe
if
less
I'd have
than
been gone for 8 months, the doors would have closed.
Yeah.
It was hard enough. We had a big dip. But putting those processes in place helped us get to the
Yeah.
200,000 mark.
Yes.
But it took us a little while because we didn't have a coach.
Congratulations.
We were doing it by the seat of our pants and steering the boat in that direction.
Yes.
And that was the blessing.
So you had those 3 months to get those processes in place. And what is
written down?
Written down.
We hired
Because they were in my
someone.
head.
Right.
exactly?
They were in my head, and we hired
Exactly.
someone. So
We hired someone to do it so that it would get done.
yes,
And at the time, we had
Now that
a
is some
bigger team.
money well spent.
well spent.
Yes.
So we kind of called in our group of supporters, like, look, we need this. Can you, and what would it cost? And a lot of them deeply discounted some stuff for us, but they also just said, hey, let me show you how to do. And so it was a lot of time of us sitting there and doing the work.
We
Sitting
had our
in
skates
it.
on.
Yeah.
Skates.
Ooh,
Yeah,
those
and so-
3 months were the fastest 3 months of my life.
I know, like, 'cause you
In
work it, like,
business. Oh my gosh.
Extra work, right? And now
Yes.
the next step in the process.
Yeah.
How do you make a sale?
Oh my gosh. So
Right? Because how do you make a sale?
sale?
That's the process
Yeah.
that is next
Yeah.
that you need to write down.
yep.
Because
So-
eventually you're not going to be the salesperson.
See, and that's what, right now I'm the salesperson, right?
Exactly.
I'm the closer. So we're working on getting me out of the kitchen so that I can I enjoy being the closer. right?
Oh, well, then that's
She
where you're
loves it.
strong.
Yes.
That's where,
Oh,
I'm strong in the kitchen too.
Yeah.
But yes,
That
I
says
love
so.
the people. I love talking to people. I love emailing.
She's the
calling.
mayor.
You know, that's my
That's what I
thing.
call her.
She's like,
So if I could, I'll do that part till the wheels fall off. But I mean, they're not gonna fall off. But
Right,
the
to the
kitchen
end.
part, somebody else need to chop.
That's right. All right.
Yes. And we realized that. So once I left, because nobody knew I left. So the ruse was, I left last year and no one knew I was going. Everybody just knew, like anybody other than my mother, because you gotta tell your mother because my mother's crazy. She's from the Bronx and she's crazy. She'd be like, "Where you at? No, it's not happening.
no.
I will figure this out."
I'll send somebody.
Yes. So
For you.
no one knew I was going, so we had to do it in a way where everything can still flow. Everything can still flow. So the sales can still come in. I do all the stuff that I would automatically do in my head, making labels, making menu cards, making all that stuff. We had to train somebody to do. So at the time we had a staff of 5 at the time. And we're now down to 3, but we did everything that needed to be done SOP wise with the business coach, with Jay White, and really just saying, we got to make this work. This
Yeah, we did.
opportunity is too big.
It was huge. Big,
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Yes,
Tell
yes.
us. Tell us.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, never in a million years did I think that I would get anybody calling me talking about something, you want to be on a TV show.
So, how did they find out about you?
They found me. I didn't apply to nothing.
I know, but
They
who-
Instagram. The casting manager on Instagram found me and sent me a message and said, there's a new show, secret show coming out. Your energy is dope, and I think you would be a great asset. Are you interested in this Gordon Ramsay show? And I was like, you're lying. Fake news.
This is a
Fake
scam.
This is a scam. So I was like, yeah, whatever. And I ignored it. And then she said again, hey, I sent you this information. Are you interested? And I was like, whatever. Email it to me. Email it to me. She emailed it to me, and I LinkedIn searched her, Google searched her. I did I was inch high private eye real fast.
Right.
And I was like, yo, this is a real person. She really is a person. So I was like, okay, she's a person. Then I was like, well, get on a call with me. So she got on a call with me. She's like, listen, your vibe is just dope. I think this will work. So I prayed upon it, first of all. I talked to her, and nothing in my gut said no. Everything said,
I'm
let's
open.
go. Let's see what happens. So we got on Zoom calls, talked to the casting manager, talked to the executive producers, and they was like, we need you on this show. And I was like, okay, sure.
So she went through the
I
process.
went through the process, and they chose me. And it's funny to say they chose me because that dumbed it down so much. So Gordon Ramsay chose 23 different food-based products himself with his team to come out to LA, do a preliminary where you had to do 2 different tasks. to even make it onto the show. So I'd be out from the first 23 to get to the top 15 to make it on air.
But while she was out there, she found out that thousands on thousands of people actually applied for this show.
And they just found you
They
and said,
found me. We want you. And so it was literally me being myself.
that's it.
And it was just
That being authentically you.
Yes.
I was having fun
that
online.
wins the day.
Did
Like,
they knew that you guys were together?
Oh yeah, and it
so
was
from IG.
So that was the scary part, though. But I will tell you. So we've been together 16 years. We've never been apart. So the scary part was, one, in business, this is our business. I fight very hard for them to know that this is my co-owner, this is my wife, this is my asterisk, this is comma,
half of me.
Yes. They were like, okay, but we want you. And I was like, what do you mean you want me?
We're a pair.
We're a pair. And she was like, girl, go. And I was like,
Girl,
but
if you don't go.
I was like, but baby.
Yeah, she was so worried that I would be like,
She would feel some sort of way.
Girl.
No, you're like
That's not
cheerleading.
Yes,
You're like,
she's like,
she was. Yeah, I mean
That's
that
my
is
best
so
role.
amazing.
yes,
Supporter.
like off the camera, she did all pre-interview people like, hey, yeah, she'll be right there, no problem. She just put on makeup. And how are you doing? And the camera come on, and here's Queen, and Jay's like, get it, babe, get it. And I'm like, does you don't want to? No, I don't want no.
I'm happy right here.
Yes, all of our cooking stuff. She's like, you could hear her voice, but she's like, do I have to get on? She gets on camera. Instantaneously, we get 100% more views. Me by myself, they're like, "Oh, it's Queen. Yeah, she's cooking. Jay White's here. What's going on? What's going on?" So we go to LA. I go to LA, and it's like we have to navigate the business me and the wife me, and also the. It truly was. I asked God, so I prayed to Allah that if this is really meant for me to be here, please help me to understand why. And what I realized is, it was meant for me to figure out that I really am a bad chick. I really have been doing this. This is me. Everybody's like, you didn't know that about you? No, I did not. We cannot see our dopeness.
No.
And it's very hard for people to see their dopeness. And I went
it's
out
hard
there and
to,
I was like, wow.
the person that's supposed to be your champion is trying to tell you.
Yes.
And then
She
you
said-
have people in your life trying to tell you, like, but yeah, you're supposed to because you're my
You're supposed
buddy.
to, yes.
You know? I love that you have worked with a coach, and I love that you are really taking all those non-cooking out of the kitchen tasks that you need to do to really launch to the next level. Now, you've been asked to go to the show. You're doing these tasks, and you're feeling this. You're probably feeling a little separation, but you know you've got it.
Yeah.
So, what's the next step here with the Gordon Ramsay saga?
So on the show, I made it to top 9, and on the day that I got eliminated, it was a God sent elimination. Oh. And people were like, what? How? No, you have to understand. I found myself that day. I found my voice that day. I understood my purpose that day. I was able to call my brother and really told him. I cried because I was like, I don't want to disappoint you, but I feel like this. He said, you're in LA filming a TV show with Gordon Ramsay. At what point is disappointment here? And I realized that I had to be okay with showing my light and shining of who I am to the world. And it's okay to be seen. And that's where I got such a sense of being okay with leaving, because as I told my competitors, I said, I have to leave so you can compete. I already got what I was supposed to get out of this, which was that you're here for a reason. You've been doing the work, and this is what the work is. All the seeds that you have been sitting in there sowing, and growing, and nurturing, this is what it's for.
Because this is not the end.
This is not the end.
This is like next chapter.
Yes, this was the next. So I was able to be seen because it was on Fox, not Food Network. It was on Hulu. Not, so you got the people who saw me, saw Indulge in Essential Spices, understood who we were. I was able to show people that I am a LGBTQ, Muslim, Black, female from the Bronx, New York, and I'm here.
You're taking up the space.
I'm taking up all the space.
Showing all that light.
Yes.
I love this story.
So it was dope. And it was dope to also get Gordon Ramsay to say he liked my food. So I felt really, really good about that. I also found my voice because I didn't go to culinary school. This is self-taught from cooking for my family and learning and flavor and listening to my ancestral saying, how does this work? And I smelled. And so we did a thing in Napa Valley, and everybody's like, so you know it's wine? And I was like, I don't drink. And they was like, so you can't just, I don't drink. But I was able to show them that I could still taste the wine on my palate by smelling it and understanding the food pairings. Also, it was pretty dope because since I don't do pork, my castmates, every time we had a challenge, and the culinary team took all the pork out of our cooler. So behind the scenes, there were so many people who understood who I was as Queen Precious Jewel that I was able to articulate to people, and they were like, no, we don't do pork. No. And even going to say, well, you know, even though you don't eat pork, maybe you can put some bacon. No, not at all. I'm not doing that. So it's always standing on who you are. What do you believe in?
Right, your authenticity.
This is who I am.
That's who you are.
Yep. So
and you know that this whole story and being that authentic you, not hiding who you are, letting that light shine. I am proud for you.
Thank you.
You know, I have no, no reason to feel like I am, at all attributed to that. But I am so proud for you.
I appreciate that.
And what I want to say too is, you guys are planning this whole spice thing.
Yeah.
Explain to me what's going on there, because this sounds like it's going to be your $1 million business.
It feels so epic. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Indulge in Essential Spices. We want to reintroduce. Go ahead. Tell us.
Because when you said, where do we want to be? What's next, right? I said a couple weeks ago, well, I've been saying it for like a year or so, that we're millionaires, right? And then I said, we're billionaires. We sold some more spices. I was like, we're billionaires. Then we had this conversation of, okay, so you always say, she asked me, you always say, we're billionaires. Is that in business or is that in personal? I said, I never thought about that.
Yep.
Never thought about that. And in order to manifest it, I got to think about that. I have to decide, what do I mean? Is that personal or business? You know? So business, billionaires.
And so I'm hearing you like get hooked into the Gordon Ramsay thing because of your social media. And my thinking is too that you probably have a big enough social media following that this spice business is getting promoted and getting propelled by this audience.
It is, but it isn't. And let me tell you the part that people don't talk about in business. How? Giving yourself grace that I am the social media marketer, I am the editor, I am the everything that needs to be done. Yes. That is the me. And so when you say, hey, did you post? I have 30,000 photos and videos in my phone. No, I did not post what I did 2 years ago, let alone what I did last week. Because somebody still has to stir the pot, somebody still has to get to somebody has to do the thing.
That's right. Got to get the inventory in, make sure things are fresh, got the menu, got the employees, got the gas in the car, the trash is at the curb,
the whole nine yards.
The whole everything.
And then they forget to tell you the how. So it becomes everybody go, get out of your head and just post something. Everything's content. It's not. Everything is content to who your audience is. And if my audience does not care that I am sitting here on the edge of my couch and we're having we ain't getting no sleep in the last 7 days, why would I post that?
That's right.
But however, you do care how I use my spices. Yes. So we're learning that fine balance. So for us, the next step is understanding that fine balance of Indulge in Essential Spices as a high-end spice line. We have glass bottles for a reason. Because my catering, Indulge Catering, is high-end catering. Right. We're traveling personal chefs. So we've been to California, New York, Maryland, doing catering and chef services. So when you taste my food, that thing in that bottle is what you're going to taste.
There is consistency. And quality.
Yes. But then that also changes people's mindset, because what we also learned the first few years, we didn't have our face on the business because we're Black and we're also gay. People don't want to see that in the wrong space.
You know about Pinky Cole?
Yes, I do.
Have you met her?
My brother actually went to school with her, but I have never met her. What? But her story is just that. You have to be, people now in the whole realm of DEI and everything is, oh yes, let's see you. That's now. Before then, it wasn't that. Our first job, because we had somebody behind the scenes, she said, you know, they didn't want to pay you up front because they wasn't sure if y'all would show up. And I was like,
Y'all, you
what
mean
is-
those people?
Yes. And then so we have to, we're not seeing it as much because of how far we're in, but it still is comedy when we get hit with that. To say, y'all are real expensive for the black caterers. Wait, what did
Like
you just
what?
say?
Like
What-
you put me in a whole nother like bucket. No,
Yes.
no.
And so what happens is that you just have to acknowledge it, but then step away from it and understand where your path is.
That's an interesting thing.
It's an interesting thing, but it's also a thing to speak it. I spoke at something for the Secretary of State, and this lady came up to me. She said, "Thank you for saying that." Because no one believes me when I tell them that they won't visit my business because what I look like. But if I put somebody else in front, the sales that day is amazing. But the moment I step in front, they treat me like I am a worker versus the owner. Yeah. And so I said, it's a thing, and no one talks about how quiet it is. Even on the show, I had a conversation with somebody. He was like, this concept is beautiful. Why don't you just go get funding? I said, okay.
Okay, black woman don't get funding.
I said
like,
they
get
don't.
like less than 1%.
Yes. So can you imagine going to a bank? Well, y'all can, but for your audience, going to the bank, having a 6-figure earning business, saying, I want to bottle the spices that I currently use in my business, which has a track record, because my clients want it. Granted, I know all the words, but them saying, okay, how much you need? This is how much I need. Well, I'll give you 10,000.
It's like you can't even get the first lot out. For
The
10,000.
kettle costs 13. So what am I supposed to? And that's the part that I had to explain to somebody, that you might not understand that because you don't run up against that. And you probably have heard it because you read it, you saw it, but you never met an actual person who is saying, sweetie, look, I'm the person that's behind that statistic. So it becomes crowdsourcing, it becomes grants, it becomes all that other stuff to get us to that million, to get us to that billion, but to get our name out there to people to know, you know what, you're going to spend some money on Indulgent Essential Spices. I have no qualms of saying that.
That's right.
However, my ingredients are organic ingredients. My spices are vegan.
I love that you have positioned yourself into this upscale market.
Well, I mean, just using the word indulgent.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
because I remember the first time I met you guys,
Yes.
you were catering an event at Carolina Theater, and you gave me the card, and I was like, indulgent. That is not, you're not going to forget that.
No.
And just going ahead and flat out saying it, and I was like, I'm going to go ahead and make these assumptions of this is high end, this is, and
Yes.
I thought that was
Genius.
brilliant.
Appreciate
And
that.
where did the origin of the name come from?
Yeah, going back to what she was saying about one of our first jobs, they didn't want to pay us because of what we looked like and the name of our business. So when we first started, the name of our business was Foods for Your Soul, and it was Z at the end of foods because her last name is
Zabriskie,
right?
and I'm a Zeta, so I was like
And-
Zabriskie, Z.
Yes.
And
And
then,
the thing was crazy because we don't cook soul food, we don't cook pork, and it was just all wrong.
Well,
it was just
The branding was just
babe.
like-
okay,
It's
listen, okay.
It was your baby.
It was
your
my
It's
baby.
okay.
But I was like, soul,
It's okay.
because to me in the Bronx, growing up, food feeds your soul. And then she reminded me, but you in the South, baby. The word soul means soul food.
That's right.
You already don't cook pork. Now you don't cook soul food.
That's right.
So you're messing up.
Yeah, that was one of the things when we first started. I was like, how are we going to stay in business and we don't cook pork? In the South, we'll never make money.
And I was like,
10
well,
years later.
10 years later,
But-
here we are.
So,
I love that you guys have positioned yourself there.
But how did you get indulgent?
So right, she told us, and actually the person that told us used to be it was our first business coach, and then it took us like 2 weeks. 2 weeks of us saying in our head, we gotta change our name, because it can't stop our paychecks, and gotta change our name. So one day we were leaving out the house and we had a sign above our refrigerator and it says Indulge.
I had the
And
sign
I
for
looked
years.
at it. Like before we even met, she had
Yes,
it.
this was mine.
So this is like the 6th year we were together.
Yeah.
So I said, babe, Indulge. I saw the sign. She was like, what? Yeah. I was like, that's the name of our business.
And I was like, what? No. And then we did something that she asked. She said, talk to your audience. Ask them how they feel when they eat your food. And they was like, it's indulgent and it feels so good and the food. And I was like, well, yes, indulge.
Yeah.
It stuck.
That's
it
it.
was amazing, and it's been that way since. Because that's what I want you to feel when you eat my food and you see it and you taste it. You eat with your eyes, and I am a big person. You eat with your eyes. So if I have plating, I have all that stuff. Like I said, which is why all of our bottles are glass bottles. Even barbecue sauce, we're doing a pomodoro sauce. All of that stuff is glass bottles because when you feel it, I want you to have some weight to it and know you're about to make something good with this right here.
Right.
The thing that we learned though about having the catering business and the spice business is as far as like having a service business and then a product business, like you said, like you would think our social media is buku and this and that because it has to be when you're doing product based things, right? And so like we hired a social media expert and but then they quit on us. So it fell back on our plate and we like, girl, I gotta stir these pots. I just don't have time to do it, you know. So with the product based business, advertising, marketing is the biggest
showing people.
thing.
It takes people
It's the
maybe
biggest thing as far as bringing.
what did they say?
sales.
10 to 20 times to see something before they actually purchase it.
Right.
And you're like, I've been told you about this thing right here. And they're like, well, I just noticed it.
Okay.
But you have to have a plan from the start. Like our plan has always been, the consumer is stores, grocery stores, restaurants. It's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And those places aren't on social media per se, you know.
Right.
So, Precious Jewel always
Precious.
wants to
Like,
thrive on social media, and I'm like, girlfriend, on both businesses, our avatar aren't even on social media, but it's a thing, you know.
But
it's
it got you.
You have to.
Exactly.
Some
And that's what I
attention.
tell her. I said, it gets us the attention. And so she's gotten better at, okay, we can go live. I will hold the camera. Come on, you got 10 minutes. Let's go. What you going to say? 10 minutes. Let's go. And then the drive from our kitchen to our home, I'll edit something and then quickly put it up.
That's
So
so funny.
it's our mobile office, as we call it, is our car. And so you have to have good internet and then just put the laptop on and go. So, yeah.
So dividing your strengths
Yeah.
when you're at home. Do you eat at work or do you eat at home?
at home.
We eat at home.
So
we eat
we've
eggs.
been-
We
yeah.
eat eggs.
It's our favorite thing, but that has changed.
It has.
It's switched because
It's gotten
we
better.
work out now.
Yeah.
So we have
Move
to
your body. I
eat-
love it.
Yeah,
Have to.
we have to eat starch and
On the
protein. Our body tells us when we have not had enough carbs and
Or
protein throughout the day.
That's
we
right.
feel like crap.
We've been on a weight loss, a healthy, not even weight loss, a healthy journey.
Healthy journey.
After I came home from the show, I also realized that I was not in shape. I thought I was in shape. I was not in shape. I was surviving.
Yeah.
I was not in shape, but I'm a bariatric patient. So I had weight loss surgery in 2012. I've lost 150 pounds. So I was like, hey, I'm doing good.
Right.
Until you have to run on a beach to do a challenge and Gordon Ramsay is
Yeah.
right there with you. Then you realize you can't quite walk and talk and the camera and the... I'm like, and I thank my contestants who walked slower with me.
Helped you out.
Didn't make it so I looked like the girl on TV. Like there was one child almost fell. I almost passed out in Arizona, and I was like, I cannot fall on TV. I am a plus size female. I cannot fall on TV.
Yeah, it's because she was hot though.
I was
It wasn't
hot. I almost
even the
passed
weight.
out. I almost passed out.
And
But,
so
yeah.
that having that stamina for your business,
It's
and just
big.
just for your
yourself,
mental,
yes.
your mental space,
Yeah,
right?
we can move around better. For a year and a half, we have been really working out, and we can move around better. I can lift 5-gallon jugs. I can lift racks of plates now. I told my trainer, I was like, I never knew that I couldn't lift a 6 and 8 foot table well until now. I fling that mug like it's nobody's business. My staff be like, if you don't slow down, I'm like, no, move up. Come on, we got to go.
We gotta go.
We got to go.
Well, I want to honor our time here.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have been a joy. I want to have you back.
Yeah.
I know that we are heading into another eating holiday, which means you're
All
going to
the
be
holidays are eating.
all
Yes.
the- yeah.
Right.
Eating
St.
every day.
Patrick's Day is less eating. Less eating. It's more about the whatever.
Yes.
So, Y'all been enjoying. I
Thank
I
you.
cannot wait to hear more and see more about what your business is doing, because I am a fan.
Thank you.
And I want to see you succeed. And I think that the folks that will tune in will get a lot about, what they should be doing in business
Yeah.
and what they should be thinking about, especially as a couple going into business.
Well, the whole thing of having the help at the beginning of staying in your lane.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing. With
Big thing.
Couples.
But also, you know what we learned also now? We changed it a little bit. We say, I need to have clear, concise conversation with you. I need to be clear. And not just my clarity. I need to ask you, did you understand what I said?
Right.
Because if not, my words might not you might not hear what I'm trying to get to. So a lot of times now we go, okay, let's have a clear conversation. Before we even begin, let's set the real expectations, because we're moving and our business has changed. We're now, like you said, we're 6-figure earners. We're trying to get to 7. What does that look like? And let's be clear about what that looks like. And if you do that, it'll help not just with the business, but with the marriage.
And clock in and clock out.
Oh, yeah.
Clock in and clock out.
That's hard. I'm not going to lie. That's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. A lot of times she might bring up an idea to me. And if I'm on the clock, she says sometimes, this will happen. She says, sometimes I just want my wife to dream with me. I don't want you to be, to do this, we need A, we need B, and A, C, we need B. And I told her, I was like, well, babe, I want to be that too. I want to be your wife and dream with you and this and that. But we need to have a code word. You need to tell me I want my wife right now. Because if you're telling me about a new product or
It feels like work.
thing, listen, I'm like, okay, let me get my pad. And,
Strategy.
yes,
I'm
let
like,
me get my strategy.
Yep.
Yes, we have to. So we can make it happen, you know? So clocking in and clocking out is very important. It's hard, but you got to do it for the longevity.
Yeah.
For the longevity. And then I told her also, get another person.
Yeah.
Get another person.
That's right.
To make it happen. I said, I'm no longer that anymore, because we're grown so
big. Right. You've got not only just your lanes, but like almost
We have
different
2 different departments.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those are important.
I want to, I can't wait till next time.
Yeah.
So. Queen Precious Jewel, Jay, co-owners of Indulge. I want to see that $1 million happen sooner rather than later.
Yes. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Key Peaked Interest, KPI, Entrepreneurial, Insight, LGBTQ editions. Hey,
Hi,
y'all.
y'all.
I'm Piper.
I'm Monique. As a woman and minority-owned business, we're interested in talking to couples that look like us. Lesbian couples in a service business. That's why this podcast exists. I've been looking for a queer business podcast that showcased LGBTQ and BIPOC owners. Found a few in each category, but none that mixed the two, so we created Key Peaked Interest Podcast. This show is looking to honestly connect with other successful LGBTQ couples in business.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. We're open to nominations, introductions, and suggestions for guests.
Hit us up in the comments, and thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks.